Welcome everyone to Life Lessons from Movies, presented by my organization, the Zen of Hollywood, and me, your host, David MacKay. In this segment, we extract life lessons from movies and then use simple and practical tips to help us improve our lives and become happier, which I believe we all desire. Okay, today's theme is why bad things happen to good people. And we'll examine this theme through the good film called The Shack, starring Sam Worthington and Octavia Spencer. Please note there are spoilers ahead. Okay, this film focuses on this man named Mac, who as a child was physically and emotionally abused by his father, and an issue that was never resolved. Now, as an adult, he seems to be having a good life. He's married and he has 3 children. Things seem to be going well until he takes his 3 kids on a camping trip. His wife is elsewhere, and somebody kidnaps his youngest daughter, Missy, when he wasn't looking. And eventually the authorities find that Missy's blood at this isolated shack in the middle of the woods, and where it's presumed that the kidnapper took Missy, but they can't find the body, so she's presumed dead. Now, shortly thereafter, Mac receives this note in the mail inviting him to go to the shack where they had found Missy's blood. And it's signed by the name Papa, which is the name that Mac's wife had given God, right? She had been calling God Papa. And when he goes to that shack, he doesn't find anybody. He ends up, in fact, slipping, falling, hitting his head, and he goes unconscious. Now, when he wakes up again, he sees this figure passing by the shack, and so he runs up to him. And it's this guy who's this innocent guy who leads him to this secluded area near the shack, but it's an isolated area that's really beautiful. Beautiful flowers and plants. There's this nice lake and this wonderful house. So this guy ends up taking Mac to this African-American woman, played by Octavia Spencer, who turns out to be the embodiment of God. This is an opportunity for Mac to have some questions answered, resolve some doubts, and of course to heal. Well, if you remember from the movie, Mac is angry. I mean, one of the first questions that he has is, how could you have allowed this to happen, this tragedy to happen with my daughter? And remember God's answer? She said something like, listen, you're looking at this incident through your personal pain, which of course is our ego. So God was saying that you don't see the bigger picture. There's a grand design behind it all. God was saying that she would have liked to have stopped it, but she was unable to do so. It wasn't possible. Now, the film doesn't really come out and say so, but really the reason why, of course, God cannot intervene in tragedies is because it cannot prevent our free will. We all have free will. It's one of our greatest gifts. And if God were allowed to stop some actions but allow others, this would be a direct violation of this law, the law of free will. And really what it is the law of cause and effect. Because everything that happens, both good things and bad things, are a result of other actions beforehand, right? It's all a part of cause and effect. In other words, karma. So the reason that Missy was kidnapped and killed is the same reason that Mac experienced this tragedy to himself. Karma. Now, what I mean by karma, I don't mean punishment, right? Karma is nothing more than energy that we've transmitted in the past through our thoughts, words, and actions coming full circle into our lives again. So negative karma then is simply that. Negative energy that we've transmitted in the past through thoughts, words, and actions coming into our lives again so that we can learn a life lesson that we didn't learn before, a valuable life lesson that will help propel us along our evolutionary path. So again, karma is a benefit, right? If we see it that way, if we see it from the bigger picture. Now, that personal pain that comes back into our lives again, those challenges, again, are not only there to teach us a life lesson that we didn't learn before, but also to teach us something about love by showing us what love is not. Our primary purpose here on this earth is to get to know who we are and to expand who we are, our nature. And that nature is love. Love is the highest truth of the universe. That's who we are. But we cannot expand love without really knowing what love is not. So every time negativity comes into our lives, some kind of a challenge, that's an opportunity to really know what love is by finding out what love is not. Now, when it comes to negative karma, we need to keep in mind that it may be coming from a point from a previous lifetime instead of just this lifetime, which is why something that happened to Missy, her being kidnapped and murdered, is possible. Now, if we take a look at Mac and his karma, Mac had been holding on to these energies of anger, fear, hurt, perhaps even shame, as a result of his being abused by his father, emotional and physical abuse. And he certainly had been holding on to this energy of victimization, being a victim. And so because of that, he was transmitting this energy out to the world. And we know that the world is just a reflection of our internal energies, both conscious and unconscious, right? And so subconsciously, he was basically saying, I'm a victim. And so he ended up transmitting that energy and attracting to himself the person who kidnapped and murdered his daughter so that he would be a victim once again. This is something that he brought upon himself, and this is basically karma in action. But karma can be a benefit, as I said before, and it is for Mac when he sees the bigger picture. Because by going in and recognizing that he had been drawing this into his own life, right? That it was an opportunity for him to go inside and heal the pain surrounding his father, to truly forgive him. That allowed him to forgive Missy's kidnapper and killer as well. And by doing that, Mac went deeper into love. He understood at a deeper level what love is. And by doing that, it allowed him to expand, it allowed him to fulfill his life purpose, which is our life purpose, to expand our love. So in the end, why do bad things happen to good people? First of all, we need to get rid of this idea of good or bad, because all these events that are happening, even though the ego calls it a tragedy, a horrible event, and it is on one level, the bigger picture shows us that all of these events, even the tragedies, are used for Spirit's good to help us evolve along our spiritual path. There is no bad or good. There is no right or wrong at the highest level. But just to use the term bad, why do bad things happen to good people? Well, of course, it's our karma, but not as punishment. Karma that comes into our lives so that we can benefit from it, learn from it, heal our inner wounds, and of course, learn what love is and go deeper into love, learning what love truly is by learning what love is not. And by doing this, of course, we expand our love in the present moment. This is the reason why bad things happen to good people. So what did you see as a major life lesson from this film? I would love to hear from you in comments below. And for more movies, tips, and life lessons, please go to my website, thezenofhollywood.com. That's thezenofhollywood.com. And please feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.